Folks are coming in. Oh, hey, Susan. Good to see you. I see folks joining in. Welcome. We're starting a couple minutes early. Um, Good to see folks. Good to see you, Susan. I'm going to go ahead and post as folks come in here a question that we have for everybody. Welcome. Welcome. I'm going to post this in the chat here. Welcome, everybody who's coming in to join us. We'll get started in a couple minutes. But we'd love to know as you join, what registration trends do you see? Are attendees still registering closer to your event? Other trends, we'd love to hear what folks are seeing out there. So share in the chat if you don't mind. What kind of registration trends are you guys seeing at your event? And we'll get started in a little bit. Yeah, Roger said, yes, within the final 2 weeks of the event. Yeah. Oh man, I think Roger, that's probably, I think, that's why I posed this question I was seeing here. That is still a COVID hangover. I think everyone is still so close to just like waiting to the last minute to pull the trigger on registration. So yeah, curious as you jump on, good to see folks. The post, I know some of these folks can't see it in the chat. I'll repost it in the chat feature here. But if you're just joining us, we'd love to hear, as Roger just said, lots of folks are still registering closer to the event, 2 weeks. Boy, that's so tough, isn't it? I'll post it again here. Other trends you're seeing with registration, we'd love to hear it, from folks in the audience here, because you guys are on the front lines managing this. So great to see folks.
Yeah, lots of folks still flowing in. Thanks for joining us today. We'll get started here in a couple of minutes.
Love to hear any registration trends. That could be exhibitor registration trends. Are folks, are feeling positive, or are they still, waiting to the last minute? Love to hear what you're seeing out there. So feel free to drop in the chat before we get started here. We'll give everybody another minute too. And people are coming in fast and furious, so we'll let them join. Just like our event, most of our events too. I think people just wait. I think we're all ingrained to kind of wait to the last minute to know, are we available? Do we have time? What are those things that
I'm usually just waiting to see if there's going to be good snow and if I'm going to go skiing. So that's usually my thing. So any of you folks out in the Colorado or Rocky Mountain area know what I'm talking about. So
well, we've actually had snow here in Maryland. We didn't have snow for 2 years. And this year we've had more snow than I can recall. But I'm already at that. I'm ready for springtime to happen. So.
yeah, that's always a little bit of a game at this time of the season. Don't want to wish it away.
And wow, and you
Days
guys actually have real ski mountains. We have. Hannah said we've been leveraging early bird pricing to drive earlier registrations. We usually see a big spike on the last 2 days of early bird pricing and then another couple days before we close online pre-registration. Yeah, the early bird does seem to get motivated. I think that's sometimes we forget we got to create behaviors that get people to do what we want them to do. So imagine we want to get started here in a minute because we got a lot of content to cover, and as folks join in, we don't want to keep people waiting too long. But if you'd love to hear more feedback on reg trends as we go through things, so feel free to to type that in. Love to hear them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll go ahead and get started today. And, as we'll say a couple of times through the presentation, we are going to be recording this. So if you experience any technical difficulties, if you're have another meeting engagement halfway through, stay tuned for emails following up today's session. And we'll be sharing the information for being able to access the recording link. We're really excited to have everybody joining us today, seeing people continue to flow in. We're going to be spending some time talking about how the A to Z events solution has expanded in the last 6 to 12 months with a suite of on-site technology. So for some of you, of course, we know we have a wide variety of folks joining us today, from our current clients to folks looking to learn more about the A to Z events portfolio, to even association clients who are thinking about, really great ways to be able to expand and create more polish and better experience for folks attending their small to medium sized conferences and meetings throughout the course of the year. So we are going to be sharing some really great information regarding that. A couple of plugs as we get started. Rich actually posted, as folks are flowing in, feel free to use the chat to be able to share feedback, to be able to react to or say hello, any of the folks that are attending. We are going to be using the Q&A feature during the course of the presentation today. So if you actually have specific questions regarding the product or regarding services, those types of things, we do have product experts and folks joining us today to try to keep an eye on that. And we will take any time that we have at the end of the presentation day to review any of those that we can get to and actually chat about out loud for us. So in the way of getting started, I'll go ahead and let our key speaker today introduce himself. Nicholas McPherson joining us today to walk us through a lot of the great material for the call.
Thanks, Benjamin. Yes, I am Nicholas McPherson. I'm the Associate Product Manager for the Registration Tech on-site solution. I've been with Personify Registration Tech GTR for 3 years, I believe now. So I work with our software development team to develop these solutions and work to provide a seamless on-site experience for all your events.
Absolutely. And we also have Stacy Trammell joining us today. I'll let her introduce herself. You will be seeing more of her on future calls as we dig into other parts of our A to Z event system in future webinars. Stacy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy Trammell. I'm a senior product manager. I work on the A to Z events products. I've been with the company now for 6, almost 7 years, which is kind of crazy. But before working on A to Z, I actually worked on 360. But yeah, like Ben said, you'll be seeing more of me as we continue these.
Absolutely. And Stacy's going to be keeping an eye on some of those questions as well. So we'll try in the Q&A section to answer as many questions as we can today. And then, of course, reserve a little bit of time towards the end if we have some extra minutes to just chat through a couple of those bigger ones. My name is Benjamin Morton. I'm the manager of product marketing. We partner actually as a great kind of partner between, as my title implies, between product and marketing. So we spend a lot of time with Stacy and Nick thinking about, all of the great things that the system is being developed to do. As our current clients know, how many exciting things have been rolling out throughout the course of the year. And then, of course, making sure for all of you folks who are seeing A to Z events for the first time, or maybe have taken a peek at the platform in the past and are considering ways that you may be wanting to expand the capabilities that you have in your tech stack, to come and check out some of the exciting things that we've done over the course of the last year, and a lot of great things coming ahead. As the other part of that, I'll let Rich Ballister, who I'm sure anybody in the events industry knows well, introduce himself, and then we will dive into the agenda really quick.
Yeah, thank you, Benjamin. Good to see. There's some familiar faces out in the crowd, so good to see everybody. I'm usually the one doing the yakking, so today it's great because I have one slide and then I'm going to go off screen, so that's unusual for me. So I will try not to interrupt the team. But yeah, again, another part of the team here to help provide thought leadership, a lot of things that are coming up for clients and prospects. So I'm here to kind of plug a couple things and then again, duck off the screen.
Of course, he'll be in the chat there. So if, for all of you folks who know Rich well or have any more industry questions or things that we can help with, feel free to post those there. We're really excited to get the product webinar series started this year. As you all know, we have done a lot of work over the course of the last, I would say, 18 months or more, really rethinking the way that things are being done in our system, adding fantastic products like you all may be aware of GTR registration, which is now registration tech, which is what we're going to be spending our time discussing today. But really the goal behind the product webinar series is to make sure that we have a regular opportunity to share really great information to help you all have better familiarity with what we're offering in the platform. So as you're thinking about those future show cycles, as you're kind of working through strategies to improve your attendee experience, that you're well aware of the opportunities you have to leverage different parts of our growing system with those upcoming events that you are already in the track of planning. We always want to be able to share great use cases, think about ways that the workflows that we're designing in the system are streamlining processes for your folks. So as we're doing that, we're going to be incorporating things like best practices, the way that we see folks being successful and how clients are able to achieve a lot of their event facilitation goals through some of those workflows. So last but not least, and also very, very important, is we always want to share the cool things that we have coming up. We have a really exciting roadmap for this year. We have a lot of things that have just recently been released in the end of 2023 and in the very beginning of 24. So we're always going to be using this as an opportunity to share with y'all what we have going on and what is just around the corner. And then, of course, to be able to get your feedback. So this is a really big, important part of this that I'll just plug at the beginning and we'll remind y'all at the end. We do have a survey that we always encourage you to fill out that will pop up right as soon as the webinar ends today. And that's really important for us to get your feedback on what information was really helpful out of today's call, what information you want to see in future webinars so that we can make sure to think about the types of things that you're thinking about as you're approaching those event planning cycles. And then, of course, for any folks who are interested in getting more information or kind of working through some of those strategic questions that you're trying to answer right now, we're always here to help. And that survey will be a great way to be able to say, hey, I would really love to chat with somebody, think through some of these questions with an event partner, one of our experienced team members, to be able to discuss ways that we can help achieve those goals or things that you're kind of seeing as industry trends as we go. And with that, I will pass it over to Rich. We're going to be running into a couple of news and updates that Rich is going to be providing for us. We're going to be spending a good amount of our call today going through the registration tech solutions, which includes a really great suite of products that you'll be able to learn more about. And Nick will share a lot of those great use cases, whether you're a large event organizer, whether you're an association thinking about ways to improve your event experiences for those small and medium-sized conferences, or whether you're somebody who is really just looking for one or two individual solutions for some upcoming events you have. This will be a great opportunity to learn. All right, Rich, take it away.
All right, I put a lot on the screen. Hey, Billy, good to see you. Is it weird that I know that it's been cold and rainy in Orlando like the past 2 days? Okay, anyhow, it's good to see friends on here today. Couple options. Again, I'll try to run through this really quickly. But Benjamin mentioned this, but we're also going to do more lunch and learns. And so these are going to be opportunities at lunch to dive a little deeper into the product. So, products that you may be using and have more questions around, or products that you want to consider. But these will be really deep dives. And so the first one is really around leveraging the event portal, so the hub. So I know there's been a lot of talk and interest in that. So March 19th, I don't have the registration link. I was hoping to have today for you, but stay tuned to that. And those of you too, I will put this in the link. We are having an A to Z training and user group. It's in Maryland. It's a month from tomorrow. Just because it's in Maryland, don't think you can't fly in. We have 2 folks coming from Vegas. I'll put the link in the chat. Make sure I post this to everybody. But it's something to consider if you're in the area or want to come or just even see what's on the schedule. Pretty exciting also will be down at CISO CEO, independent show organizers. And then we'll be back with Benjamin, another one of these around how to maximize investment and create efficiency with a modern online contracting workflow. So pretty exciting there. Another one just like today. So join us there. We'll be at TSE, Trade Show Executives Fastest 50. Another Lunch and Learn. ECEF, for those of you who are flying up or have not done Legislative Action Day. Hey, by the way, we just passed some legislation around the spam, the ones that, housing spam and reg list spam. Some legislation just passed. If you haven't done Legislative Action Day, reach out to me, come up to DC, and it's a great day to do it. I'll be speaking at ASAE MMCC plus Tech. So you association folks, I'll be in DC. My session is on actionable AI. So I'm super excited about that. I'm presenting an intro at the user group and then a deep dive at MMCC. And then stay tuned. Darius is also on the call here. A lot of the content that you see around events is really the brainchild of hers. Thank you, Daria, for all that. But we are diving deep into AI. And if you're in the events business, you've heard a lot of things about how AI is going to make our lives easier, and no one's telling you actually how to do the things. So Daria and I's job is to tell you how to do the things with the tools. So last plug, and then I will actually literally shut up, which is strange for me in a webinar. You can see the angst as I'm not used to this. So we launched a new website, my2zevents.com. We will be trying to build out a new page that posts all this stuff with all of our webinars, thought leadership items where you can connect with us. But I love seeing you guys in person. I love seeing you digitally. But if you can make it to one of these, let me know. Or if you whatever it is, if we're not there, let's try to connect. So again, that's my plug. That's it. It's 2:15. Back to you, Benjamin.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much, Rich. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We're actually going to pass the mic over to Nicholas to get us started. We're going to move through a couple of slides, just kind of introducing all of the registration tech capabilities, introduce those capabilities kind of more at a feature level and talking about their core values. And then Nick's going to actually dive into an in-platform overview for a large majority of our discussion today so that you can actually see the product in action. And I will send that over to Nick now. Go for it.
Awesome. So as we talked about earlier, I'm Nicholas McPherson, and we can get started on registration tech. So why A to Z registration tech? So formerly GTR, and then we work together with the A to Z team significantly now. So registration forms, check-in and badge printing, attendance tracking, assessments and certifications, lead retrieval. These are all elements that have on-site elements. There's also pre-setup, which you'll see in the platform as well. But A to Z registration tech allows you to have that seamless on-site experience. So on-site, when it comes to printing badges, when it comes to scanning your leads, when it comes to scanning your attendance tracking, all of that we provide at a seamless level. So we want to make sure that you're streamlining, simplifying your operations. We want to make sure that you're working with a partner that has a service team that's full of event experts, people who have done it before, people that have been on site and understand your needs. We want to make sure that we're providing you a comprehensive solution to drive your revenue. The reporting that we give you will prove a return on investment, and we want to make sure that we're driving business development opportunities, that we're not putting anybody in a box, but allowing them to set up their necessary workflows to make sure their events are a success. So we could move on to the next. So some registration tech features. We have 5 main products that we use. One of the ones that we'll show today is registration tech or registration management. So online and on-site. So you can manage your registration forms. You can have an approval workflow for people who are registering for your events. You can control the workflow of people registering from beginning to end using our conditional logic. As people are registering, up to the event, we've seen that the trend seems to be people are going up to the last minute registering. You can manage their data, whether it's before on site or whether it's online. And then throughout the life cycle of your event, you can gain those compelling insights. You'll see that on our dashboard today. We give some quick hitting statistics and KPIs, and we have both system generated reports and the ability for you to customize your own reports as well. And so badge printing and check-in, we want to make sure we're creating an impactful first impression. We understand that when people are in line ready to print their badge, they want a fast solution. They want to be able to come up and scan their QR code or type in their first and last name and be able to easily print their badge. So we have a badge builder. This is the side that can be done ahead of time. So creating your badges for your events, we allow you to customize your fonts, your colors. We have different types of printers, such as black and white or color printers that we can offer for solution. We want people to feel empowered when it comes to the kiosks that they're showing off to their attendees. So whether that means branding or having sponsor logos on your kiosk, we allow you to fully set up your kiosk ahead of time. We provide a nice little preview for that as well. And then we want people to be able to feel comfortable as people are coming up to print their badges. So they might need to verify that badge information ahead of time, or they might make that change in real time. Someone gets up to the kiosk and they see a misspelled name, they can make that change rather quickly. For attendance tracking, we want to make sure that once people have printed their badges, we can track what sessions they're attending. And if it's tied together with our assessments and certifications as well, they can receive continuing education units. So you can scan your badges. You can manually enter their data if needed. You can view attendees who have checked in, whether that's on the app or we provide reporting for that in our platform as well. But we want to be able to give you insights that you can act on, whether that be session popularity, or maybe if you have a large event hall, where are people entering from? Are they entering the front entrance, the side entrance? It can get as granular as that. So for lead retrieval, our lead tracking allows exhibitors to get the most out of their investment by making it easy to record those interactions. So they scan a badge and then they can notate, they can see participant data to begin with, including phone number, company, email. They can make notes about how their interaction went. They can add qualifiers as well. We allow you to facilitate those direct sales if you'd like. So you can set up your own lead retrieval order form. You can also see the collected data right away if you want to export directly from the app. We allow you to export your leads to CSV. If you're integrated with the exhibitor hub on the A2Z side, you can also have all of your leads integrated over there as well. And we definitely allow some custom setup within the app so you can provide your own qualifiers that make the most sense for your business case. And then as we talked about a little bit in attendance tracking, we have assessments and certifications. So in the past, a lot of times people might receive the data of this person checked in, this person checked out, this person attended this or that session, and it wasn't automated how they would receive their certificate. Similar to the badge builder, we've created a certificate builder as well, where you can input the necessary data, the credits they should receive. We want to make sure that the manual reconciliation takes as little time as possible. And we want to make sure that the certificates you design, you can be proud of. You can also have them behind session quizzes or surveys so that people have to fill out information to be able to access their certificate. And all of that is done in a survey portal as well.
Excellent. And we'll hop back to the presentation towards the end of the call to share a couple of highlights regarding upcoming releases and everything. One more plug as I stop sharing my screen and pass the controls over to Nick to start sharing his, is we do have the Q&A panel open. So if you have any questions related to the product, feel free to pop those in there as Nick's walking through his presentation today. And we will try to get to as many of those questions as we possibly can. And then once we do, we can come back and answer any additional questions that we have time for at the end of the call.
Awesome. So now that we've hit those highlights, let's dig into the registration tech platform a bit. So what I have up right now is the administrative side of the registration tech platform. It is company and event based. So what you're seeing now is one of our dashboards. We love dashboards. We have them across the company level, the event level, the product level as well, which you'll see. We want to be able to provide those quick KPIs that you can see at a glance. So you can see right here, we're at a company level. Registration, we've had over 6,300 completed registrations for this company. We've taken in this amount of revenue. So we have those quick hitting statistics for each one of our products. One other thing that you'll notice as we go throughout the product is we do have lots of modals and easy builders. So we want to make things as simple for you as possible when you're building your event from start to finish. This one would be just the event creation modal. As I talk about being at the company level, you might have administrative users you need to control. We can go to events and you can see that we have live events, upcoming events. We want to be a lifelong partner for you and your events. And so hopefully that would look like multiple events per year, or maybe the same event year over year. But we understand that you have needs based on your upcoming events that are different versus your live events and your past events. There's always data that you'll want to be able to see as well. So now we'll move to the event level, and you can see a nice little dashboard. This one's a little bit different than the last one. Most of the KPIs are similar, but at the same time, this is event-based rather than your whole company. So we see here at the top, we have some nice to know. So event start date, end date, the location. You can duplicate events year over year. So if you have a nice annual conference in 2024, that is going to be happening in 2025 again, and you want to keep much of the same items, you can sit here and duplicate the event. You can duplicate the form, your option groups, pricing tiers, all that type of information if you like, to make that process of setting up seamless. So we're in event overview here. Event overview is comprehensive of the platform as a whole. And what I mean by that is when we dig into our participants here, there's multiple ways you can become a participant on this participant table. Maybe you filled out a registration form. Maybe you filled out a lead retrieval order form. Maybe you were imported in or you were integrated in. Anyone who uses or is an attendee that is touched by any of our products will be in this participant table. So we can see here that we have first name, last name, email, status. We can control by editing view what shows up here. We like to provide some breakdowns for you. So complete, incomplete, canceled. You can also use our conditional logic like this tab set up here. We set up our own search parameters. I only want to see people whose email contains examiner. Maybe it would make more sense for it to be a Gmail. I only want to see the Gmail emails, or maybe a tab specifically for the VIPs versus the members, that kind of information. But this is where you can see your groups, add custom fields, import people in, manually add a participant if you need to. And then you can also generate your badges PDF file. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we move towards badge printing. But if you're a smaller association, we love this generating your badges PDF file. We have Avery stock set up. Or if you have Avery stock on your side, we have badges that can be set up so that these PDF files can be directly printed on Avery stock. And we'll go over that more in a little bit. So as I click into a specific record, the first thing I'm met with is the activity log. So what's going on with this record? We see that this person's conducted a transaction. This person has been scanned into multiple sessions. This person has attended these sessions. Have they filled out a survey? Not necessarily yet, but this allows us to take track of what is going on exactly with this participant. We also have quick action items on the side, so maybe we want to email them quickly. Maybe we need to add a transaction on the administrative side or generate just a badge specifically for them. We could do that easily. Under this, you can see that we have fields. So this is what we talked about a little bit in the overview for registration. We understand that people will email you and say, hey, I didn't put my address correctly on the form, or it's changed now. I don't really want to go in and change it on my own. Can you update my address? You could easily come to their record and do that. You can see data about them that's reportable on. So once they print a badge, they'll have a badge print date here as well. You can conduct transactions here in the back end if you want to say, oh, this person paid in cash, you can associate it with the line item. You can take their credit card if needed here in the back end as well. And we see other items that are financial related just so we can track what's going on with their payments. But we also move on to some of our other products. So a lot of those fields deal with registration, but we also see lead retrieval, badges, and surveys, assessments, and certifications under here. So we can see that this person has an activation code. These are the leads that they've scanned based on their activation code as well. If they had an unresolved lead, meaning that the barcode they scanned wasn't a barcode that loaded in data, they could resolve that lead quickly here as well. For badges, we know that people want to know what their badge is going to look like ahead of time. So we have this tab where you can see a badge preview based on the badge you have set up. That way you're not getting on site and seeing them all then in that moment. If they have any surveys to take, you can see what remaining surveys they have. If their surveys are completed, you'll actually see an export button here where you can export their certificate and send it their way if they were to have any issues for the portal on their end. So as we think about other things at the platform level, things that span across the other products, one other one would be emails. We have a very robust email solution. So similar to some of the dashboards we provide, we also provide our system generated emails. So this registration confirmation is the email that goes out when someone finishes their registration. We like to provide a nice template here for you to use. You can come in here, make the necessary changes that you need to. It's a full WYSIWYG editor, bold, italicize, underline, all that stuff, adding in links or files or images. But we provide these templates. You can change them as necessary. We do provide a code view as well. One thing that we definitely enjoy and get a lot of use out of is emails being different per registration type. So my VIP should see a different email than my member when they finish than a member when they finish their registration. So we can say, hey, this is what the email is going to look like for the VIP. We can easily copy the content, and maybe we're only going to change a couple of things. We can change that really quickly. So how are emails sent? Emails are sent a few ways within the Registration Tech platform. One of them being you can go on their participant record and send it, like we noticed. You can also, they're sent by triggers. So as we noted earlier, a registration complete triggers the registration confirmation email to go out. We recently introduced this so that you can change these triggers around. Maybe I don't want anything to be sent out when someone completes their registration. You can uncheck it. Maybe I also want a know before you go or a welcome email to also go out when they finish their registration. I could change that on the way as well. And these triggers span across the products, a lot of them with registration and lead retrieval, but we still continue to plan to add on to them as well, as we know that they're important for the workflow. So for scheduled emails, you can schedule your email. We're very proud of this functionality. I can schedule that the registration confirmation should go out today at 3 p.m., for example. And this is one area where you can see our robust conditional logic. So who do we want to receive this email? If we want everyone to receive it, that means everyone who's part of the participant table will receive the email at 3 o'clock today. Maybe we only want our VIPs to receive this email. We can say, hey, I only want the registration type that equals VIP to receive this email. Maybe it has more than one condition, not just VIP, but I also want that VIP to have attended a specific session. So we can say registration type must equal VIP, and they must have attended the future of technology to be able to receive this email. So our conditional logic allows you to control who sends emails. We'll see it in registration forms and reporting as well. As we move on to reports, reports are another item that are across platform. You can set up reports. We have lots of canned reports as well. So reports that come with the site when your event's deployed, such as badge print statistics. This will show you all the badges that have been printed. We have complete registration participants. You can see here we have the badge print date. It's laid out like a spreadsheet. I can easily click to view the participant's record, or I can export to CSV as well. So in addition to the canned reports, you can create your own reports. This is where you'll see the conditional logic again. So who should show on this report? If we want to import a report, so maybe I have a report I love from last year's event that I want the exact same setup for this year, I can easily click this and choose the event that I'm going to import it for and the report. So we can see here that we can add our fields. Maybe we want first name, last name, email, and company to show. Maybe company should actually show first. We can easily drag and drop on that end. So payments, these are payments taken, whether it be by registration or lead retrieval order form. This is a nice little dashboard where you can come in and see what's going on with your payments. Who has paid? When did they pay? What's their transaction ID? How did they pay? If anyone has open invoices, you can send it to them directly from here. If anyone has an abandoned cart, that means they've started a registration, selected something that they should pay for. You can easily see that here as well. We have a nice breakdown by payment method. So you can see most people are paying by credit card, and you can see payments over time. So what does it look like all time versus payments received yesterday or the last 7 days? So we will move on now to registration specifically. So we'll have a nice little dashboard in the platform for you. You can see the start date, end date. We do provide iframe code. So if you're going to embed your registration site on your own website, you can easily take that code and do that. We do have the exhibitor login. So a lot of attendees will use register.gtrnow.com/event name. Exhibitors will have a different entrance, and that's because those exhibitors that belong in A2Z that are integrated with us, they come over by integration. So you can see here, this is a very basic form, but we have 10 people that are exhibiting with the registration tech company, and they can come over and fill out their registration information so they receive badges on site. So as we think about our form, we think about conditional logic again. I don't want my VIPs to have the same workflow when filling out their registration form as I do the members. So conditional logic can be set at the page level. So we see we have a page called VIP information that only shows for people who are VIP. It can be set at the field level as well. Maybe I only want someone who is a VIP to be able to see this field. We have common functionality such as hide and show fields, make a field required. If we want to add in a data mask, if it were to be a zip code field or something of that nature, we can. We can add character limits. We can make fields read only if complete, meaning if they've completed their registration and they come back in to make updates, it's only a read only field. So the other aspect we think about when we think of our registration form, we set up our form and the data fields we want to capture, but what is my form going to look like? What's it going to look like on a large screen, on a laptop screen, or on a mobile device? Because we know that a lot of people now are registering on their phones, as that's the quickest and easiest way to do it. We have a design tab specifically for this. You can design your registration form. You can set background colors and images, header images, your page width. You can set headers and footers, control your font family, so what the text looks like. If you have primary and secondary buttons, you can control the colors. This is always something that we're adding to as well. We want to give people the most options possible so that they can customize their workflow as desired. So another feature within registration that we're very proud of and we get a lot of use out of is our referral tracking links. So how are people going about promoting your event? Are they using a QR code campaign? Is it an email campaign? How are people reaching your registration link? So you can set up referral tracking links to track how people are reaching your link. For example, this one is a QR code campaign. I embedded this link with this referral code and a QR code. Someone scans it and they register. I can see how many visitors are generated off of that, engagement, how many people started a registration, how many of them completed a registration, and how much revenue I've received that's been generated by this referral code. And if you ever see boxes that are clickable within the platform, Usually that means it will take you to a filtered view of the participant table. So this is the person that completed their registration with referral code that was based on the QR code campaign. All of this data reportable on as well. When we think about pricing and transactions for registration form, we have promo codes by percentage, by amount. We can set dates of when those promo codes can be used, a cap on how many times it can be used. Is a promo code only able to be used by a specific registration type? All of that information. And as we talked about a little bit earlier, pricing tiers have definitely become important. Lots of people registering at the last second, but we do, like was mentioned earlier, see a trend that if you have an early bird pricing tier, that really motivates people to come in and register early so that they can save a little bit of money. So this pricing tier section allows us to set up an early bird pricing tier, a standard pricing tier, an onset pricing tier, so that we can specify when that pricing begins and ends. So if you want to spruce up your registration form, you can always add content pages. It's very similar to emails. It includes a content section where you can add in to your WYSIWYG editor. You can choose to show in the nav bar, all that type of information. So now that you have attendees registering for filling out your registration form, what about the exhibitors? So the exhibitors all want to know who visited them when they were on site, what attendees visited. So this is where our lead retrieval solution steps in and shines. So we will go over here where I can show this off. So registration tech leads can be downloaded in both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It's of course used to gather leads. So it might be a mobile device. You're using your own phone. We also do provide physical scanning devices that can be sent to your event so that you're not using your own device. Once you scan a lead, you can see the data, their phone number, company email. You can write notes. You can qualify the lead. As I talked about earlier, your leads can be exported at any time to a CSV file. Maybe you got a really hot lead and you need to get it to your marketing lead. You can put in their email address real quick and shoot it over that way because you're going to still be in the booth helping out with attendees for the next couple of hours. So that's a quick view on the app. But one other area I want to highlight is us facilitating your lead retrieval order sales. So we allow you to create a order form where you can say, hey, we're going to be selling those physical pro scanners. This is the price that the first device will be at. Or we're going to be selling activation codes for your mobile app. That activation code is how you get into the app. 3 activations may cost $495, but this allows you to gain some revenue, of course, and provide that return on investment for your exhibitors as well. When we're looking at reports, we think about on-site when it comes to your lead retrieval solution. So what I mean by that is you can see how exhibitors are faring, how the exhibit hall is faring in general. So we can see here right now, my leads make up the most of the leads that have been scanned lately. We can see if we look at scans by date, oh, the 6th of February was when we had the most scans. Of course, most events will be in the hundreds, if not thousands of scans. So that's when this data becomes extremely valuable. This allows you to see exhibitor scans, export them, send them by email if you need to. If you want to send them an email at the end of the day to all exhibitors, you're more than welcome to as well. If any physical devices are being used, then you can use our device check-in and out. This allows you to send checkout messages by SMS text, check-in messages, reminder messages to turn in your devices as well. That way you're not doing it on paper or on an Excel spreadsheet. You can do it right in the platform and it automates a lot more of the solution. So we'll move on to attendance tracking. So attendance tracking is definitely important in a successful on-site experience. I want to know who all attended session X or session Y, or in addition to that, maybe attendance in a specific session allows a participant to receive a continuing education unit. So once again, this is a solution that is in a mobile app for us as well as the platform. So the Registration Tech Track app, once again, Google Play and Apple App Store to facilitate iPhones, iPads, and of course Androids. You can scan their QR codes. You set up your scanning. How often do we want to sync scans back to the platform? How often should a scan happen? Camera to use. This is of great importance. We've got lots of feedback about this. Is a person going to be sitting there with their phone scanning people at the door? They'll probably want to use the back-facing camera. Or is it going to be a self-serve iPad kiosk where people come up, grab their badge and load it into the screen, so they'll want to use the front-facing camera. And we also added recently device name. This has been really helpful so far. So this is what I was talking about earlier. If you have entrance A and entrance B into the hall, you might want to know which entrance is being used most by attendees who are attending the session so that we know how to staff properly next year. I can label my device name entrance A or entrance B of session hall A, for example. And that way I can see in the data that I eventually look at in the future, hey, maybe next year we need to add a person to entrance B. It got a lot more attendees coming through that door than session A. So using the app, it's as simple as choosing the session you want to scan people in for. You scan their badge using the front or back device camera, and you can view the scans in the platform as they sync over. So as we see another dashboard, total scans, unique scans, sessions, which sessions have the most scans as well. When we go to our managed sessions, this is where we can easily set up a session. We want to give the session a name, a room name, a capacity that is read by the app as well. So when capacity is met, it will pop up a message that says, hey, you've reached capacity. Scan mode. So are we just scanning people? We just want to know who's coming in and out, or maybe this is a paid for session and it should have access control. Only certain people who have paid can access this room. And if a person who has not paid attempts to access it, it can point or it can show an error message saying that they need access. We can specify credits. If it contains credits, we can set a speaker name as well. And then this reporting section is very similar to the reporting section we have in event overview. The only difference really being that we have an additional level of what session do we want to report on. And then the fields also do change a little bit as well. We want to provide you those attendance tracking specific fields, such as scan in time, scan out time. How many minutes were they in the room? We do that calculation for you. Device name, all of that information. And we can take a peek at one of those real quick. So if I view it, it's very similar to the other one that we looked at earlier. Just a layout by name, email, their scan in time, their scan out time. So it appears these people at the bottom have only scanned in. So that's where we can see that there might be actionable data there as well. So we'll move on to assessments and certifications, since that ties into attendance tracking. So this product allows you to create surveys and quizzes for your participants and session attendees. It allows them to log into their own portal to fill out that quiz and receive their certificate. So I'm setting up a quiz or a survey. I can easily come to our quiz builder. I can name my question. Does it have a correct answer? If it has a correct answer, I'll need to set the correct answer. Maybe it's a rated question, meaning this is a survey. It's not going to be graded, but it's on a scale of 0 to 10. I can specify the rate range. Or maybe it's neither, and it's just a text box. They can type in their answer. Maybe we have a correct answer. Maybe we don't. But this allows you to customize that workflow based on, is it a survey? Is it a quiz? Should it have a correct answer? We have plenty of settings where you can set the pass rate, the fail rate. You can control that verbiage, a design tab so that your portal looks different than the registration form. So registration form, lead retrieval order form, assessments and certification design, they're all separate. Because we know each experience will be separate for your attendees and participants. So what about my certificate? What's that going to look like? So we have a dedicated certificate builder here where we can open an editor, and I'll undo this, but what I did was load in an image, but you don't necessarily have to do that if you don't want to. You can create completely from scratch. That includes background colors, adding in the merge fields of what should show, You can add in static text, so maybe there is no merge field. You can see that these fields are now aligned. If you needed to center them, you're more than welcome to. If you want to change the font family, you can. We also allow you to upload your own fonts as well if you were to have them. You can change the size. So most things that you can do in any badge builder or certificate builder, you can do here in the registration tech platform as well. We also leverage our conditional logic here, where you can say, show this item if it meets a certain condition. And anytime you use one of these builders, we like to provide a nice little preview so you can preview with some data to see what it's going to look like. So what ties all of this together? So how do we take their registration data and make sure it scans well when using lead retrieval, or attendance tracking scanning goes flawlessly so they can receive their CEU? All of that comes back to our Badges product. Badges makes that first impression when you're on site at an event. So that experience in registration tech is twofold. We'll see some in the platform right here, and we'll see our on-site app as well. So we support multiple types of badge printing. So black and white printing using zebra printers, color printing, either using the Epson printer, or if it's a PVC badge, a larger zebra printer as well. And you'll see here desktop printer as well. These were the Avery badges that I was talking about earlier. So maybe you're an association running a small event and you aren't able to contract a large Epson printer or the zebra printers, but you want to be able to provide those badges to your attendees. You can easily set up one of these badges, and all it takes to run that event is in your participant table. You can specify who should receive a badge. So in this example, it'll be these three. And you can generate your badges PDF file so that it loads in a PDF right here, like we're going to see. It always takes a second to load, but it'll load in the necessary data based off the badge you created, and you can easily print that from your desktop printer so you can facilitate events quickly and without necessarily having to have too much in the way of physical devices and setup. So we can see it loaded in those 3 attendee badges. If I'm using a different printer, so one of our Zebras or Epsons, I can always come here and create my badge. So we can change the size of the badge, we can add layers, we can do everything that we could do in the certificate builder as well here. The biggest difference being that you can have as many badges as many reg types as you have. So of course, if you want your VIP badge to look different than your member badge, you're more than welcome to set up the difference between them. And that reads directly into our Badges on-site app. And of course, you can preview your data. So this is what the legwork looks like ahead of time: setting up your badge, setting up your kiosk. We know that you want to see what your kiosk view is going to look like ahead of time, so you can see that dynamically. You can set background colors, enable first name, last name, QR code lookup. You can add in custom verbiage if you want someone to have to sign a COVID waiver or something of that nature. You can say, hey, they should be able to see their first name and make changes, or they can change how big their first name appears. All of that completely configurable by these settings. And that includes other items such as, man, this year it's all about speed. So I don't want them to even see this first page of the kiosk. They should go directly to page 2 and just start scanning right away. So these are the things we think about ahead of time, and we can plan ahead of time. And when we get on site, you'll see this on-site solution for our badges. So you can see here that we have badges printed, unique badges printed. We of course want this queue to be clear because we want to be facilitating a quick experience. Other items such as print station leaderboard. Station 3 is killing it. They're printing the most badges. We need to send 2 more support staff over there tomorrow. Maybe we see here 10 a.m. was killing it. That's our hot hour. We know we need to be staffed well for that next year. Badge preview. This one always comes in handy. We do have an auto sizer, so if a field becomes too long and stretches out horizontally, we shrink it automatically. But maybe you still don't like the way something looks and you're scrolling through your badges. You can easily click on them and change the font size as well. And then you're always going to have attendees come up to you and say, hey, I need this or that changed. I can quickly click on their profile. I can change what's necessary. I can add notes that will filter back to registration tech if necessary. And then I can print that badge here if I have printers set up. So all of this is workstation and printer based. So workstations being your kiosk, whether it's an iPad or some other type of kiosk. We have the ability to add in your printers. That includes scanning for printers. So all of this is going to be maintained on a router. So this makes setup very easy. You can scan, it'll load in the name, IP, the type of printer, the label size. All you have to do is set the workstation, or you could manually do it yourself as well. But that is a quick overview of the on-site solution that we have for badges. So we'll go back into platform. And so a lot of this ties together registration tech. I really wanted to highlight how all the products work together. So this participants table contains data from every product: registration, lead retrieval, attendance tracking, badge printing, assessment, and certifications. So we always love suggesting that you use the full product suite. We think that our registration ties very well together with our badge printing, and the same goes for lead retrieval and attendance tracking. And that is what I had for our demo and platform for registration tech.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Nick. Um, well, I will go ahead and get my slideshow popped in for a last couple of items. Nick, there's actually two questions in the Q&A section you can probably pop into really quick. And then just confirming, I think the answer to this one is that it's correct. But with the attendance tracking setup, with the attendance tracking, same as the check-in, is going to be the ability to use on-site devices that we can send ahead or available within the actual phone application, so that those folks, for instance, Dana, who was posting in here, was looking to see if they have staff that are actually posted for those attendance tracking sections, that we can offer those physical devices if they don't want to use the application.
Yes, we can. Similar to lead retrieval, it'll be those pro scanners so that you're not using your own devices. You can order as many of them as necessary. And we do have settings specific around there. We know that temp staff, we don't want them to be able to switch sessions. So we have activation code locking, that type of information. So things are a little bit more intentional if other people are helping facilitate the events.
Excellent. Well, I'll let you pop into those two questions really quick. Get my slideshow, my screen going here just for one more moment. We are getting close to wrapping up today. But I will say, now that I've sent Nick off to give a couple of answers to those questions, we are so grateful for everybody showing up today. We do have some really exciting things coming up that are here highlighted on the screen. So, being that dynamic, changing solution, we're always looking for opportunities to streamline operations, to make the attendee experience great. So enhance data in one system. So as you saw, lots of great information coming into the registration tech dashboards that have fantastic insights and visibility into all of that information. And if you are using our full A to Z event suite, that information being passed into other systems is going to be really crucial. So thinking about what Nick was talking about earlier, lead tracking, and the ability for your exhibitors to be able to actually see the information of those leads that are scanned from within their actual event portal for their front facing thing as well, are some really great things. And then improved attendance tracking in the app itself. So Nick, on the horizon, do you want to talk us through any of those items there, especially the refreshed kiosk? I know that you mentioned it, but any other items that would be good to highlight here before we wrap up today?
Yeah, so on the horizon, we do have refresh kiosk coming, so that includes some additional settings. So we've heard many requests that, hey, I don't want people to, like we saw earlier, I don't want them to see page 1. I want them to go directly to page 2 so we can get this get the show going. Those types of settings to allow you to customize your event a little more to your needed workflow. Expanded printer support, that's something we're excited about. We're in the process of completely certifying the Epson 4000. We'll actually be running an event with that soon, so we're super excited about that. That's the most up-to-date Epson printer that allows for fast printing and just a seamless on-site experience. And another one I'm really excited about, not listed here, but we'll have company level reporting coming soon. So that'll include a nice new company level dashboard and allow you to report at the company level rather than the event level. But all of that is coming soon, and we're super excited about it.
Excellent. Well, I'll let you hop in, and Lynette and Hannah, see your questions in here. We will let Nick pop in there, so hang on to the call for a little bit longer. But just wanted to say again, thanks everyone for joining us. As Rich mentioned before, we do have a lot of really great content coming, so stay tuned for emails to check in on some of the upcoming opportunities. The one thing that we are doing between our product webinars, as we have today, and then our lunch and learns, is selecting the same day and time during the course of the month, so that especially for those folks with busy schedules and know things are gearing towards those event seasons, we're always glad to have you. We're trying to make it easy to do so. So we are blocking out this hour, the third week, the third Tuesday of each month. So on every other month, we'll have a product webinar, and then we'll be looking at getting additional things like those lunch and learns and great things posted on our website soon. So stay tuned for all of that great information. Once again, Rich, any other last closing comments before we send everybody off? There's going to be a survey that pops up here at the end of the call. We so appreciate you taking the time to fill that out. It's a great way for us to think about what information would be really valuable to see in the coming webinars, and other questions that you might have, or things that our team can help you think through as you're planning your next event.
Yeah, no, that sums it up. Again, apologies if you didn't have the Lunch and Learn sign up link. We'll get that out to everybody. Stay tuned for that. But as Benjamin said, take that survey. We'll reach out. Whoever's the right contact will reach out to you. But we're super excited about all those upcoming opportunities. Most of you hopefully know me here by now too. Always feel free to reach out or hop in the loop. I went and Lynette and I were brainstorming last night. So again, I mean that honestly. I'm always excited to brainstorm event stuff. So thanks everybody, and have a great day.
Thanks everyone.